morning, Lisa. Welcome to the Morning Muffin, your morning carbo load of real estate. I'm Jennifer Coates.
Good morning, and I'm Lisa Wichmann. It's good to see you. How was
And
your
I'm just
weekend, Jen?
good. I'm just turning off my cell phone on Do Not Disturb. I forgot to do that before we went on. Sorry.
Nothing like phone calls in the middle of a show.
Yeah. Okay. So today we are talking about for sale by owner.
It's a good topic.
It's a great topic for Market Monday.
You know what's interesting is, well, probably people don't, it's been a seller's market for how long? A really long time. And yes, I mean, obviously we have more buyers than sellers. But the thing is, and a lot of people just think that they can sell their house on their own. And some very well can. Absolutely. You can do it on your own. However, there's some downfalls to it as well, doing it on your own.
It's tricky. I mean,
it's not easy. It's not just like putting a sign in your yard and your house is going to sell.
It is. The way I think of it, like if I were to think about before I was a real estate agent, if I were to sell my home, I would feel like it would be like giving myself a root canal. Like I don't have the training or the tools. It sounds really expensive. And if something goes horribly wrong, it could be even more expensive to fix.
Oh, 100%. Yes. Yeah. Because there's a lot of legalities involved that
you
very take care of and make sure everything runs smoothly. But I know you have some specific things you want to talk about this morning.
I do. Okay. So let's talk about, let me see.
I think Jen froze for a second. There we go.
Marketing your home is harder than you think. Okay. So it's more than just putting a sign in your yard.
Yes, it is. We do. Oh my gosh. As agents, we do so much more.
Yes. And I'm sorry. I think that the lawn people are right outside my house and I couldn't get my microphone to work. So I apologize for the lawn mowers. But yes, we put it, okay, so before we even list your home for sale, there are ways that we can market it in-house to agents, to friends, to people to get kind of, I like to think of it as selling tickets to a gallery open. Like you have like an amazing, like a Monet painting in your gallery. And how is anybody going to ever know unless you sell tickets and advertise it? So before the gallery even opens, we want to have a line of people waiting there because that'll just lead us into the next one, which are showings are draining.
Well, let's talk
you don't want
a second for that because marketing, talking about marketing and getting it out there to the public, one of the things that we have is social media, and we know how to use social media to get people to come to your showings. Yeah.
And there are new rules. Yeah, there are new rules to how we can market a home that isn't currently listed on the MLS versus once it finally is. And we know all the ins and outs with the Department of Commerce for that.
Yeah. That's true. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now showings can be draining, doubly so when they lack constructive feedback and you're just showing a home and you're like, why isn't anybody buying it? And you say you're a seller and you just have no idea because I don't know if it's everywhere, but we have this thing called Minnesota Nice, which is just like a really nice way of saying people are passive aggressive here.
It's so true.
It is. And they're never going to say to your face, your house smells like cat piss. Like, nobody's going to say that. So
no,
I'm sorry.
We don't want to offend owners. Nobody wants to offend an owner. And because we are pretty nice here, there's always an exception to the rule. But and it's important that sellers do get constructive criticism, which is one of the things that we gather from agents when they're showing your houses. We just automatically do that. Yeah.
And I think you and I take it a step further in the way we ask our questions. We don't ask just like, what did you like about the home? It's like, what is your client looking for? What was the most important room in the house? Is this home priced within $5,000 of the sale price? Like we get really good feedback from people, don't we?
We do.
Okay. So now that I think that walks us into the next one is that sellers are less likely to objectify their home than buyers.
That's because it's so emotional. We're so emotionally attached to our homes that we can't look at things objectively at all. Which helps to have an agent to come in and say, your home becomes a product for sale once it hits the market. It is a product. It is not, we don't want family photos. We don't want any of those things. We want buyers to feel that it could be possibly theirs. And sellers sometimes are a little too close to their home.
Yeah. And decluttering, getting everything off the counters except for just like a couple things so that clients or buyers can imagine their stuff in your place.
Exactly.
Like it's part of the process.
It is.
Okay. So now, speaking of which, if there is something wrong when a buyer walks through your house, they're going to start deducting it off the price in their head. Like the moment they walk in the door, and if the door is like hard to open, they start like, oh, gonna have to replace that door, and they mentally do a little tick in their mind off the price. So pricing is super key. So we go in and we don't just look, we take the neighborhood price and we do all these things about solds and pendings and actives in there. And then we go through your home and we actually put it through that mental math.
Yeah.
We smell it, we see it, we feel it.
Well, and interestingly enough, I have a little stat here from NAR, the National Association of Realtors. I have stats here from 2018. They don't have anything more current. But pricing is the trickiest thing, they say. And the average for sale by owner, well, first of all, for sale by owners accounted for 11% of homes sold in 2018. And the typical FSBO sold for $200,000, whereas the typical agent assisted home sold for $280,000. So while people think they may be saving money by selling it on their own, obviously they're not paying a commission, they might be leaving money on the table. And that's huge because most people's motivation is financial, especially nowadays with so many people out of work and so forth. But that's the statistic,
Well, and then this goes right into pricing is key because the longer it spends time on the market, the more people are like, well, what's wrong with it?
Yes.
Why is it taking so long to sell? And that's just plain and simple. It could be terrible photos. I mean, online, people, they don't even want to look. If a photo doesn't speak to them, they can't see past it. They just can't.
That goes back to marketing and
back to marketing.
Professional way. Yes.
All right. And now negotiating. Sellers do all their own negotiating. It can be a really, really expensive. Usually what it is sellers, let's just face it, sellers don't want to pay for anything. They don't want to make any repairs. They want to sell their home as is. That's like everybody's dream scenario. I think every person that wants to sell their home is like that. But there's got to be some kind of compromise. It's a relationship, right? Between a seller and a buyer. Yeah. Yes. So and being able to know all the tricks.
Oh, and there are some tricks to negotiating. Negotiating is a skill. We just talked about this on Friday.
We did in our favorite book. Yes, negotiating is such a skill. We spend so much time talking about it all the time and reading about it and learning about it. It's our job. Oh my gosh, these things outside are giving me like the willies. Okay, now lastly, okay, good. Paperwork, title, and your bottom line. Okay. So sellers think it's really expensive because they just think about the commission, but they don't think about all the other fees, the title transfer tax, the deed tax, the leftover water bills, things like that, but the taxes, all kinds of things that are on there, probably special assessment checks, things like that. They don't understand what's all in selling a home. So when they hear about fees and all the things on the bottom line, they blame it all on us. I feel like we're like the first person they blame because we're the first line of defense.
Well, and Also, not just the bottom line, but the paperwork. There is a plethora of paperwork to be done, and we are monitored by the Commerce Department. There are things that you have to do legally, and you don't want anything to come back and bite you in the ass.
Yeah. Well, especially if if somebody had gone through a divorce and now we have to go chase after that unknown spouse for signatures on all the documents and the contracts and stuff. A lawyer, if you hire a lawyer to do that, they're going to charge you by the hour to do something like that. And honestly, they're going to put a lien on your house too, just to cover the costs. And then I've seen some scenarios or heard some scenarios through the grapevine about where lawyers have dragged their feet out so that they use the entire amount of the lien that they put on the house. It was
like that.
So I'm not saying that there's bad people out there. There's bad people. These are just scenarios. But title companies, they do this in and out all day long. They have flat fees for this kind of thing, especially to sell your house. I think the title company I use, they charge $425. I really love that. They're really professional. They get everybody to sign. Nowadays with COVID, you pre-sign like a week before your house sells, and you never meet the buyers. You just kind of like drop off the keys, and things just run really smoothly when you can trust the sale of your home to a professional.
Definitely. We do bring a lot of value, an immense amount of value. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Well, tomorrow, it looks like we're talking about our favorite downtowns, because now the holiday season is upon us. Places are going to be decorating. We're going to be driving through downtowns. But I think, yeah, this is it. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time.
See you tomorrow. Same time. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye. I think there's one. Hold on. I got one more. Don't forget to click get reminder for tomorrow's show. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.